Awesome.
Hello, hello.
How's everybody doing? Awesome. Today I'm very happy, all right, to bring my personal mentor, Josiah Tan, right? Josiah is my personal mentor, all right? He actually helps me a lot in my marketing game. All right, so today we are very fortunate and I'm very grateful to actually invite him to our community today. All right, and maybe Josiah, you can share with our community and our audience a little bit more about yourself so that our audience here, they get to know more about you.
All right. So thanks, John, for having me. Really awesome to be here. So in short, I coach many of the Asia's top coaches like you, salespeople, and also marketers. And typically after working with us for about 12 months, they usually double or triple their business within a year. So that's in essence what I do.
Awesome. So I'm just curious, Joe, you are so good at marketing. You are one of the most detailed person I've ever met. You are even more detailed than me. I'm very amazed by some of the things that you have taught me. So I'm just curious, how did you get started in digital marketing?
Interesting question. How did I get started? I don't know how many years ago, but I recall this was about probably year 2 in my university days. So at the point of time, I didn't come from a very I came from an average family, right? So at the point of time, one of my desire was, hey, how can I probably make an income for myself so that my mom won't have to say, I will retire after you finish university or after you and your brother finish university, right? So at the point of time, she was working in the day, then at night still need to study for some university stuff. So she was working really hard just for the job security. So at the point of time, I just wanted to create a career for myself. And interesting enough, I recall it was, I don't know, June, July or whatsoever, one of my friends passed me a book when we were on an internship. Basically, I was interning for a B2B company. I was doing some sales for them. Yeah. And then I had to go around the industrial blocks. I go and go and sell some shit. So she passed me this book, and it was a book by Russell Brunson. So it was called The .com Secrets. So after I read the book, I was like, wow, shit, man. It's like, there's you can build an internet business, or you can run some business and marketing online, and then you can actually make sales and do all these things. That was great. So that was how I first got exposed to the idea of digital marketing and all these things. Yeah. But nothing moved much over there. Then afterwards, I took a course on the same topic, and I met my mentor Eddie Koa, and then afterwards I took the skills, start my business, and at the same time also went to use it like a kind of freelance kind of stuff, and work with another one of my mentors, Josiah, on his business. And that was when I first kind of experimented a lot of stuff on his business. He was very open. Him and Dr. Daniel was very open to let me go and just implement all of these things in my business. Grew a business, made them good money, and then that was how it all started. Probably year 2 of uni there.
Wow, amazing. So I'm just curious, how did you get your first few clients?
Well, barter, definitely. So like Sean, right? I had this skill set that he was looking to grow his business at that time. He seems to have a great product, but can't really get a lot of clients. So I said, hey, why not you teach me a bit of your investing skills, and then I'll work on your business kind of for free. So at first it started off as free, then after it's got better, and then that's how he perhaps shared some of the revenue with me.
Wow, amazing. So I know that you also have a very good partner, Melvin, which is also my mentor, right? So how did you met Mel, and how did you get started with Enlightened Profits?
Good question. Bro, this is a very interesting backstory. So it was when I was working with Sean. So at the point of time, we had a mutual friend called Resh. And Resh was the one who kind of introed Mel and myself together. Resh told Mel that, hey, there's this apparently this underground dude who has been filling up seats and filling up the room for Sean. Hey, why not go and meet him, kind of stuff. So Resh put up together in a meeting, but on the meeting, Mel came in the last 2 or 3 minutes, and then and interesting enough, he took my number. Then the second time we met, so that was the first time we met, right? I only spoke to him hi, bye, goodbye, kind of stuff. The second time we met, I think we spoke as from complete strangers. We spoke 3 hours straight at a juice bar in International Plaza. Then that was when I knew, shit, man, this guy and I pretty much similar wavelength. Then that was when he shared with me that he was working on a project with Marshall, and then he wanted someone to work with him on that. And that was how I kind of like started to partner with Mel and started Enlighten Profits. And well, it's been, I think, 4 or 5 years already. Just
Amazing
5 years,
journey.
1 month really. Yeah.
Amazing journey. So tell us a little bit more about how did you get started with promoting Marshall, and what are some of the learning lessons that you guys have learned during this period of time?
Very interesting. So a lot of the things that there's so many things that I have learned throughout the entire journey, so it's very hard to encapsulate into one or two things. But the entire one of the biggest opportunities was learning from Marshall and Bill themselves, because they have coached like Tony Robbins, they have coached Marshall have coached Tony, has coached T.R. Ecker and quite a number of these very renowned powerhouse. Yeah, Robert Kiyosaki and all of these guys. So they are, the timeless principles and the wisdoms that learned from Marshall is really awesome. It's a pity that all of those material is not really being taught right now, because Marshall's no longer teaching.
Yeah.
And then there's hopefully, I don't really can find any of these things on YouTube, but if anyone wants to go and search it up, probably they should go and YouTube it. But personally, that was how the entire journey started for Mel and myself. Then it slowly led up to how we did X Factor probably in 2019. So entire journey, one of the most interesting and the biggest thing that happened to us was when after Marshall had triple or quadruple heart bypass.
Yeah.
It was when we no longer could work with Marshall to bring his program to Singapore and to Asia, and that was when we had to pivot, right? So it was at a point of time where it was also a huge learning lesson, right? Because in business, nothing ever. It's not forever a bit of roses, and you're always going to have challenges. And then is what you do and what you decide to do in those times of challenges that basically define you, right? So at the point of time, we had to refund a 6-figure sum of money. That was
quite an experience. I'm sure it's a memorable one.
Painful one, painful one. And you speak to Mel because he at the point of time his identity was a lot more like a Marshall spokesperson, promoter, all this kind of stuff, right? So can you imagine at the point of time when we had to kind of like wind that business down, right? Mel was really lost, and then there was, I can still distinctly recall one night I had to drive to his place and then we take him out to go and drink, because he was not feeling very good and that was one of the probably like the kind of like transitional shadow kind of period, right? Where you are like not sure what to do next or whatsoever. And eventually, well, everything happens for a reason, and everything is perfect, right? So we eventually transitioned into X Factor, and then 2 years plus, here we are, right? We have coached many of you guys. It's very exciting to see a lot of your growth and the impact you guys do. So that is very interesting. Yeah.
Wow, every time I see like the success that you and Mel enjoy, right? But when you share like all the battle scars, right, it really encourages people like us, right? That entrepreneurship is always a journey, all right? It's not everything like a bit of roses. We all have some wins and we all have some learning lessons, right? Yep. So it's really, really amazing to see how you are so open to always share like your vulnerable part of your side. So I'm just curious, like being a marketer, right, and having the success that you have right now, I'm just curious, like what are some of the common mistakes that you see marketers are making out there in the marketplace that we can also learn from these mistakes? What are some of the common mistakes? Yeah.
Probably I would share something less technical and something more timeless that I think most people can apply. So this is a story that I came across while watching a YouTube video. Very interesting story. Have you heard of the story between Lee Chong-wei and Lin Tan, and why Lee Chong-wei is always number 2?
No. Maybe you can share with our audience. Yeah.
Okay, I'll share with you. And this is literally from Lee Chong-wei's mouth. Okay, so there was a Chinese host. She was a pretty famous Chinese host. So she went down from China. She flew to Malaysia to interview Lee Chong-wei. and then she followed her for the entire, I don't know, day or something like that, and then she basically went through with life. So there was this segment where Lee Chong Wei was sharing, right, what the Chinese coach, the China team coach, right, thinks about Lee Chong Wei. So Lee Chong Wei and Lin Dan, for those who don't know, right, basically they have been like vying for world number one in badminton for the longest time ever.
Yeah.
But then I think maybe 8 out of 10 times Lin Dan always get a champion, then Lee Chong Wei always lose. So as he was reflecting about it, right, he was sharing a story to the Chinese host and said, this is what the Chinese host said to me. 如果你在我的队啊，你早已经是世界第一了。If you are in my team, right, in a team China, right, in China team, right, you have been world number one. So he was very surprised, right? Then why? Then he asked, why do you say that, right? Because then he said, based on your skill set, based on your personality and everything, right? If you had the training partners and the sparring partners that we have, right, in the China team, right, you'll be number one, much faster, and probably even beat Lin Dan. And then, so as he was continuing sharing, right, he said that when he was training in Malaysia, he has never once, right, picked his national team coach or whatsoever, and he has never picked his sparring partners. Whatever he trains with, right, is whatever the country gives him. So whatever the environment gives him, he just pick it. And apparently, the sparring partners in the China team, they are all probably like world top 10. Yeah. But the sparring partners in the Malaysian team, right, they are not in the top 10. So guess what? Eventually, when you spar with people at a very, very high level, then guess what? Then Lin Dan perhaps rise up and he rises to a higher standard, much faster. Yeah. And Lee Chong Wei, guess what? Then he just forever number 2, even though he's a very good player. So I think that story, how does it apply to us, right? And what it means to all of us is this, right? I think everyone is very familiar with the concept that the environment is very important. Yeah. Right? Your network is very important. Yeah. And they're very familiar with the concept also that iron sharpens iron. But what I got out of that story, right, is not only iron sharpens iron. It's like the quality of the iron really matters. Right? even if you are damn zai already, right? Yeah, even if you think you are damn zai, but your sparring partners and people around you are not at near your level, right? You can be sparring with them, you can be interacting with them, it's still not going to be not going to do you too good.
Yes, that's true.
But if another person has the same quality as you, right? But all his sparring partners are all very, very high quality. Then similarly, everyone in that pool, the environment will rise up. So I think that is a very interesting learning lesson for me, and I think for many people out there, right? And the mistake that I don't know potential any marketers could make, right, is that they view other marketers or marketing agencies as a competitor, and then they abstain from sharing things with them, like sharing what works. They abstain from like interacting with other people and just thinking that they're all the competitors. I think that could be one mistake. Another one could be if they don't have a community of people like-minded as them and is playing at a very high level as them, then pretty much they are not going to progress as fast as they should be. So I think those are a few things that I think is pretty much applicable to anyone and food for thought for anyone. And which is why perhaps a lot of your clients, they decide to join you because they want to be in an environment where all the sparring partners are all playing at a very high level.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, so I'm just curious, like, what drives you every day? Because like, you are really one of the top marketers in our industry, and you are really coaching all the top players, right, in the different coaching industry as well as the top marketers. So I'm just curious, what drives you every day? What makes you happy?
Okay, very good question, bro. Very good question. And my answer is different stage of my journey. I get motivated by different things. So what motivated me 1 year plus ago, right, is pretty much different from now or 2 years ago. So at the point of time when we transitioned into X Factor, it's like very like, wow, zero security, zero certainty. So that was what drove me, right? How can we build a secure and stable kind of a business? So as soon as kind of like the kind of level is reached really, right? And another one of my value is freedom. I value freedom and like autonomy a lot. So once my finances and everything was like stable and like financially free or whatsoever, right? Then I realized that my life get a bit boring. Then I feel like very sian. No, I feel very sian. Then I was sometimes just sit on the sofa, like watch Netflix, and just zone out, that kind of stuff, right? Yeah. It's not like things aren't running, but then it's just like I got no motivation and just feel down. Yes. Basically, perhaps whatever fueled me in the past no longer fueled me. So I was reflecting on this and what drives me or what excites me right now is at least for now. Okay, for now is what if I can what if I can at least double my business or grow my business while working the same amount of time or even lesser time. So that excites me. That's one thing. Then another thing that excites me right now, or what drives me, right, is solving different kind of challenges. So the funny thing is, I value challenges or I value achievement, right? And I want to go and solve problems. And then sometimes there was a period of time where there was 7 days, right? Each day I only sleep 3 to 4 hours because I was very excited to solve a particular problem. One day I woke up at 1 p.m. I thought it was 6 a.m. already. So I woke up at 1 a.m. I thought it was 6 a.m. Then I went down to my office. Then I saw my brother and and his fiance. They were watching TV right here. Then I was like, shit, isn't now 6 o'clock? But it's only 1. So that cycle went on and on. When I finished that particular project or that particular problem, right, then I feel again, I feel them same. Then I feel like, oh shit, man, I got no more drive. So what drives me now, I realize, is that I must solve new problems, and that would challenge me and keep me going or keep my mind active. I find myself, if I keep on solving the same problem over and over again, I'll get bored. So this is personally for me, and I think that's a very good question that you ask also, because I think for most people, when they don't understand what drives them, then it's very hard. They always forget the word, wow, I got no motivation to do this, I got no motivation to do that, blah blah, whatever shit. So as long as you find something that works for you, then turn on that knob, tap onto it.
So let's talk about building a system in your business, right? You are one of the most systematic person that I've ever met. One of the things that I also share in my business is the importance of having a system, right? SYSTEM. Save yourself stress, time, effort, money, right? So I always believe in building system, and you are one of the most detailed person I've ever met. So can you share with us what really motivates you to actually build a system in your team? Why system is important? What is your perspective about having a system in your business?
Okay, perhaps I'll share with you the why first. I say, I value freedom a lot. Then one of the things that I witnessed all along when since I was growing up, was my parents are extremely hardworking. So they would perhaps wake up earlier than me, go to work, come back at 8 plus 9, have a meal. Then my mom, I can see my mom go up to her office, still in the working clothes, still working kind of stuff. Yet at the same time, she will still feel very insecure in her job because there's other new people coming in the company, younger than her, 20 years, 30 years. And then they put into management training position and all these things. So she just kept on working harder and harder just to feel secure. So that's something that I look at it and I respect that, but I never really wanted that. So for me personally, I wanted a business that could run if I'm around, if I'm not around, and it could still go. And therefore that's why I value a lot of systems, a lot of automation, a lot of these things. So that's to me. Why do I do all of these? Because I don't want to be bounded by the bloody business. I don't want to be bounded by anyone. So that is a huge motivating factor for me of why I want to build all these. And that in itself is like a great benefit to me really. And that's the why part. And what's the second part of your question again?
What's your perspective about system? Why is it so important? Because I know a lot of people, they know the importance of having a system, but some of them, what really stopped them is for example, hiring team members, right? Or what if I teach my team members everything and they just leave me and they start another company? So there are a lot of these similar objections. There are a lot of the audiences or even like some of my friends they are facing. So I'm just curious, what is your perspective on that? Why is it important? And can share with our audience a little bit more.
System wise or the team wise?
System wise and team wise.
Okay.
Yeah.
System wise, this is another perspective that I learned from a guy called Dennis Yu. So he has ran and managed $1 billion worth of ads. Wow, and one of the phrases that he uses is called repeatable excellence, right? So, and another phrase that a guy called Sam Carpenter uses is called if something is worth doing once, then it's worth documenting, right? The idea is the same one. Basically, if you want to ensure that there's a higher quality in delivery, if you want to reduce the time taken to do certain tasks, and you want to be able to delegate it to someone else, then you must document your stuff so that most people in your team can do it, and the team don't rely on you or rely on one person to go and get it done.
Yeah.
That is the general idea. So there is a lot more scale in a sense, and that's one of the main benefits of why you should definitely invest in systemizing certain things, documenting certain things. And I really like that phrase, right? It's called, like if something's worth doing twice, then it's worth documenting.
Yeah.
Because most humans' brain are not built to go and store information, right? We are very good at processing certain information. So don't rely on your brain to tell you what worked the last time or whatsoever. And don't rely on your team member's brain to go and to go and document certain things. What if your team member is not around? Then no one else can do a job, correct?
And it's also for communication purpose. You want everything is being documented so there's no misunderstanding, and also expectations between the team members.
Yeah, for sure. And on the team side of things, is there any challenges that your clients or your team have?
Probably the more common ones are like, for example, what if I teach my team member everything and one day my team member decided to leave me? These are some of the very common objections that some of our audience are probably facing, right? So what advice would you give to this group of audience?
What if you teach and then they leave you? I think most people want to stop it from happening, but I think it is inevitable. It's inevitable. Like if you know, if you know that this will eventually happen, this is part of the game of building a business, and as this is part of the game, then this is the rule. Certain people will stay with you, certain people will leave you. So there's no hard feeling, right? That's why inside the system you got to build and account for these people who will eventually leave, and then be neutral about it, because they have started from zero. They have done something great from you, and it's time for them to move on to the next part of their life. Just like how you have moved on from certain part of your life to now in your own business right now. So I guess it's definitely going to happen.
So one of the things I always like to share with my my clients, I always ask them this question back again. I always say that, what if you don't train them and they stay?
Yeah.
What if you don't train them and they stay?
There's another important perspective. If you keep people who cannot make it, and then might as well you don't hire them in the first place, right?
Yeah, and also one of the beautiful part about system is that, even if the person leave, right, you can just hire another person to actually, take over the role very, very quickly, and also having that kind of same standard of excellence in the business. Yeah, awesome. So last question. Can I ask you, now that you actually achieve a certain level of success, right? What advice would you give to your younger self? What advice would you give to your younger self if there's something that you can advise to your younger self, the younger Joe?
Wow, this kind of question. Advice I give to my younger self, bro.
Yeah,
what should I say?
Year 2 uni Joe, what advice would you give to the year 2 uni Joe?
What would I give to the year 2 uni Joe? I think if I were to meet him again, I probably would share whatever I shared just now about Lee Chong Wei and Lin Tan on. Because I think the skill set, this kind of thing, like it is not hard to learn all this kind of stuff. But I think the environment, the people you mix with will also determine what kind of stuff you learn, and determine the kind of how the iron sharpens the other iron, correct? So that perhaps I would tell him that, hey, to quickly go and find a pool of people who have either been there, done that, or who can coach you to get there, and stick around with them closer, and to learn from them and learn from each other. I think that's what I'm going to say.
Amazing. So thank you so much for your time, Joe. I think myself as well as the audience, we all learn so much from you. All right. So for those of you that are interested to follow Joe, right, I will actually put the link below. All right. You can actually connect with him if you are a coach or marketer, or a consultant, right? So, and he's also my personal mentor, right? I personally learn a lot from him. All right. So for those of you enjoy videos like these, all right, do remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel and click on the notification bell, because every day we'll be launching new videos like these to help you to grow and scale your e-commerce business. All right. So I hope that you guys enjoy this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much, Joe, for your time. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Welcome. Like, subscribe to John.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.